Hello guys, welcome to the 3D market commentary today. Today is Thursday, although it's always hard to keep track of the day of the week between Christmas and New Year, isn't it? But today is Thursday the 30th of December. Now obviously the markets are a little bit, what would be the word, slower I guess. There's not as much going on normally at this time of year, but still, there are still those that are trading, and so I hope you guys are having a great trading week so far. And obviously a nice end to the year. Now let's make sure that we cover the disclaimers. They're on the top left hand corner, so please read them. If you need to pause the video to read them, then by all means do that as well. Now 3D market commentary, for those that don't know what it is, essentially we do a video every day, Monday to Friday, where we expand on an email that we send to our free members. That email has information on major markets in the world, and for each of the markets we look at 3 separate elements. That's why we call it a 3D market commentary. So we'll get to that in a second. Just to show you here where you can email if you have questions, there's Becky@tradictive.com and support@tradictive.com. So you can email me on either one of those or email us on either one of those. There's also tradewithufos.com/Becky. From here, you can get different platforms and apps. You can get one-on-one coaching if you'd like, and you can log in here for free, and you can ask some questions there, which is a great place for you to ask questions because other people can see the questions and the answers. Okay, so let me show you the email that I was telling you about. So this is the email that we send out every day. It's on the left-hand side, and of course relevant to market data, which is on the right-hand side. So the 3 different elements that we look at. First things first is market climate. Basically what that means is, where are the probabilities? Is the market likely to go up? Is the market likely to go down? Or is it not really likely to go either way? That gives us an idea of whether or not we buy, sell, or do nothing. So market climate. Now we use an app to help us with this. It's called AutoClimate. AutoClimate is a free app on most platforms you can get it on. If we ignore the lines, just to focus on the dots are telling us where the probability lies. So if it's a thick blue dot, that tells us probability is upwards. If it's a thick red dot, that tells us probability is downwards. If it's a thin dot of either colour, that tells us probability is neither way. So again, we use an app to help us figure out where the probability lies. So we'll look at that per market. Then we'll look at buy and sell UFOs, unfilled orders. Essentially what we're looking at there is, where are the buyers and where are the sellers? Where are lots of buyers and sellers? Now these little green UFOs here, again another app that we use. These little green UFOs show us where the buyers are. These little red UFOs show us where the sellers are. Now that's helpful to know because buyers are likely to push price up, sellers are likely to push price down, so we want to know where they are. And the last thing is market volatility. How quickly we expect markets to move. So we'll look at each of these concepts per market, each of these elements per market, starting with the S&P 500, which is the top 500 US stocks. Now each of these markets we're looking at are on daily charts. So of course different things happen on different time frames. We are looking at a daily chart. Okay, so the S&P 500 has a confirmed upwards climate, thick blue dot. Probability upwards on the US stock market at the moment. Now we do have buyers all the way down here at 4479.75 to 4436.25. Unlikely for them to have a lot of impact soon because price would have to fall quite far before it hit them. No sellers above us. So overall probability there to the upside. When it comes to volatility, we would expect that in 1 year that the S&P 500, top 500 US stocks, would go up or down by 17.14%, which in a day is 51.7 points up or down. In a week, 113.81 points up or down. In a month, 236.91 points up or down. So that is volatility. So that's the US stock market. So for the time being, overall probability upwards, and obviously volatility as we talked about. Okay, so looking at the next market, which is crude oil. There we go. As I load it, just to bring your attention to the different courses that we do up here. We do courses in futures, stocks, forex, backtesting, trading plans and psychology. Now, you might not necessarily want to take a course, and that's absolutely fine. Bear in mind, most of them come with a 3-month complimentary access to the apps. AutoClimate is free on most platforms you can use it on. AutoUFOs, which you can subscribe to directly, AutoUFOs are a paid for subscription. So it might actually be cheaper to do a course and get 3 months for free than it would be to just use the UFOs. So check that out depending on what it is that you need. Okay, crude oil, thick blue dot, probability to the upside. We have buyers underneath us here at 73.95 to 72.27, and we have sellers above us here at 79.23 to 77.98. Now, we're around about here. So if price were to come up and hit these sellers, we would expect them to push price down. If price were to go down and hit these buyers, we'd expect them to be pushed up. At the moment, in between both of them, so it's the climate for now that is giving us probability upwards. So probability up there for oil on a daily chart. Now, in terms of volatility, we'd expect oil would go up or down in 1 year by 40.24%. So in a day, that's 1.93 points up or down. In a week, 4.24 points up or down. And in a month, 8.83 points up or down. So that's oil. Next market is gold. And again, as I load gold, just to bring your attention here to the coaching and support that we offer. We do a lot for free, videos like this that are on YouTube and Facebook and places like that you can watch and learn from. We also obviously answer our questions that we get via email and things like that for free. Now, we do have a closed coaching community, which gives people access to more of our time in a closed environment. But otherwise, like I said, a lot of our coaching and support is free anyway. Okay, coming back to the market, which is gold, we have a thin dot here. That tells us not enough probability either way. No point doing anything. Now, we do have buyers down here at 1781.3 to 1753, I think that is. And we have sellers up here at 1873.3 to 1844.2. We're here, so slightly closer to the buyers, but overall unlikely that we'd see them have any impact today, and the climate's not sure what it's doing, so no point doing anything. Change time frame, change markets. With volatility, we would expect that the market would go up or down in 1 year of 15.13%. So in a day, that's 17.15 points. In a week, 37.76 points, and in a month, 78.6 points up or down. Okay, next market is the US dollar. As I load the US dollar, just to remind you that, of course, everything that we're looking at here is what's probable, what's more likely to happen, but not to say what definitely will. We, of course, don't want to be making predictions about the market that we sort of hitch our horses to 100%. We always want to add more probability if we can and reduce our risk, manage our risk. We're never going to be 100% right, but when we're trading, we at least want to know what's more likely to happen so we can plan from there. Okay, so with the US dollar, we have probability down, thick red dot, probability to the downside. Now we have sellers here at 96.67 to 96.33. They have worked to push price down and then again push price down. That's why we want to know where they are, because if we have an idea of where the sellers are and we know where price is more likely to turn from, that gives us an idea of where we should be selling to. Now we have buyers here between 95.595 to 94.695. They again have also worked to push price up. That's why we want to know where the buyers are. So bear that in mind. We are between buyers and sellers that have already worked to push price up or down respectively. At the moment though, we've got probability to the downside coming from the climate, probability down. So until it hits these buyers, probability to the downside here with the US dollar. In terms of volatility, we'd expect that the US dollar would move up or down in 1 year by 5.62%. And therefore in a day, it's 0.34 points. In a week, 0.75 points. And in a month, 1.56 points, either up or down. That's the US dollar. Okay, now the last market is back to Bitcoin. As I load this, just to bring your attention down here to our top platform. So it's TRADDICTIV Options Planner, but it's also a platform you can use if you trade stocks or futures, even Forex for analysis purposes. So check that out as well. With Bitcoin, we have a thick red dot, probability to the downside. We have sellers above us at 52,165 to 50,665. And we have buyers a lot further down here at 32,820 to 31,615. So overall, probability to the downside, much closer to the sellers than the buyers. Lots of room to go before buyers step in, and probability down on our climate there. Now in terms of volatility, we expect that Bitcoin would go up or down in 1 year of 74.04%. So in a day, that's 2,299.73 points, up or down. In a week, 5,062.63 points. And in a month, 10,538.7 points, up or down. So that's Bitcoin. So now for each of these markets, what we've looked at is market climate. Essentially, where do we have our probabilities? Up, down, or nowhere. We've used AutoClimate, a free app on most platforms, to help us figure that out. Was it a thick blue dot, and therefore probability was up? Was it a thick red dot, and therefore probability was down? Or was it a thin dot of either colour, and therefore probability was neither direction? So we've looked at that per market. We've then looked at buy and sell UFOs. Where do we have buyers and where do we have sellers that could push price up or down respectively? And then we've looked at volatility, how quickly we expect the markets to go up or down. Now the last thing to look at here is our weekly economic calendar. Unsurprisingly, not much going on at the moment because of the time of year, but we get this from the fxstreet.com economic calendar, and we filter by high impact news. So today being Thursday, we have some news coming out on the Chinese yuan or Chinese markets that if you trade in those markets to be aware of. Otherwise, not much else going on in terms of scheduled reports. So if you have any questions, you can email me, becky@tradictive.com, or you can go to tradewithufos.com/Becky. Get yourself apps or platforms from here, some of which are free. You can book one-on-one coaching if you'd like, and you can come down here, log in, ask questions in this public space so that we can answer them in the public space and we can all learn together. Hope you guys have a fantastic New Year. We won't be on tomorrow because it is New Year's Eve, so we'll be back next week. So have a great New Year. Have a great start to your 2022. Hope your trading week, if you are trading this week, rounds off very nicely for you for the end of the year. Otherwise,